boys, it's me, Gibran and Friend Production here, and today I'm going to reacting Story of Sodor Season 4 Part 2 Revelations. And yeah, well, since I'm reacting this because I'm bored, so yeah, and and actually this is a new episode. Should I think I'll do the recap. Last time on the Story of Sodor Season 4 Part 4 that yeah, some mentioned we're beginning the inspection. Well, while the storm is 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 disturbing some engine work. Even last time at the old iron ridge, Peter Sam was the slate truck will fall into the ditch, fall into the ravine, but I don't know how. And then the manager were really furious. But then last night, a man dead because oh my god, it's so hard to. God, this is waste time. And sorry, God, folks, I can't do the recap. And let's start this video. 3, 2, 1, go.
The train, for its time, is the most powerful vehicle on land. And the engines of Sodor are the power behind the docks, industries and branch lines that make up the world-renowned Northwestern Railway.
My, I hope this, well, some characters that have been revealed. Yeah, Story Sodor. La, 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 la. Wow, look at this, look at this show, man. I mean, video. Well, I think I want to score this after the reaction is done. Episode 4, I guess. Revelations. Come on. Nah. Alright, who's this house? Oh, Sir Top of Hat. Flight controller, I guess. Oh. Why is he sit? Oh.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. How are you feeling? Terrible. All these years I've gone without thinking about that horrible place, only to learn it was here on Sodor. It's like someone's playing a cruel joke. What am I going to do, Celia? You are going to do what you do best. Survive. You survived Monsevere, you survived a shipwreck, you survived the hospital. You will survive this. Will I? Word is going to get around about my outburst at Harwin. Who's going to follow a controller who loses his mind at the sight of a dusty old lamp? They will if you explain why you reacted so. They will support you. I'm not sure I ever want to talk publicly about such things. What about privately? But you already know everything that happened. I don't mean with me. I mean with a professional. Someone trained to help people who are hurting. Someone like Dr. Simmons. Celia, you know my thoughts on psychiatrists. I was at the mercy of such men at Carlton. Anderson wasn't a doctor. He was a lunatic. Dr. Simmons is not like that. He's a miracle worker. He helped me after my mother died. Do you remember how inconsolable I was? You couldn't get out of bed. Exactly. But a couple of sessions with him, and I was right as rain. I'm sure he can want this with you too.
Alright.
Alright, I'll make an appointment with Dr. Simmons. Thank you, Tommy. You won't regret this.
Sorry, my mom told me to do chores, but yeah, but after this.
I suppose I should speak to my staff and engines. What are you going to say? I am taking some time off to deal with personal issues, the details of which I would rather not go into. I'm sure there will be rumors and speculation as to the cause of my absence. I ask that you not believe them and to respect the privacy of myself and my family. I will do my best to return to my post as soon as I am able. In the meantime, you will comport yourselves in a manner befitting that of a really useful railway.
Wait, what?
What did you pit squeeze through our controller? Nothing. He asked to see the lucky lamp and went balmy when he did. Why? It was hard to follow. He said something about how he lost it, that the hospital was here. Hospital? What hospital? Search me, but it almost sounds like he owned the lamp at one point. Is that possible? possible? Anything's possible. Did the lab's records make any mention of Sir Topham? Rosie didn't say, and I'm sure she would have. I'll ask her next time I see her. You sure that's a good idea, James? I know Sir Topham specifically asked that nobody pry into his affairs. I know, but a part of me really wants to. If we can find out what caused him to become so upset, maybe we can help him. I think the best help you can offer is just being there when he's ready.
I
Like you did when
agree.
Edward was going through a hard time after the war. You're probably right. Thanks, Rhaenyra. Anyway, let's change the topic. How are the repairs going at Harwin? They're finished around the station. Now they're working on the damage done to the quarry. Duncan's on his way over
Ooh.
to help. Is he back from his overhaul? Excellent. How is he? He looks almost the same, except Sir Handel allowed him to change the color of his paint. He got rid of his red coat. How unfortunate. What did he pick instead? Something a little unsettling.
What? Yo, Duncan is
What do you
back
lads think?
with new
It's
livery.
different, I'll
I
give you
mean,
that.
new
You
paint.
don't like it? No, it's not that. It's just, why yellow? Because they were out of chartreuse. But in all seriousness, I want something different. I also wanted to say thanks to the pair of you. What for? I heard how you two alongside Scarloy and Rhaenyra went out looking for me when I didn't return to the shed. I can't tell you how much that means to me, and I feel so guilty you endangered yourselves for no reason other than my own stupidity. You really don't remember the accident? Not one bit. I remember picking up the little kipper and then waking up in the works. They said I crashed into a lorry. I find that very
What?
suspicious.
He
Me
crashed
too.
into a lorry?
You roll like a pop star, but you never spit. I know that about myself, but I can't prove it. Best thing I can do is move on and say thank you for caring about my welfare. It's what friends do. Thank you, Rusty. So, friend, how have things been going? I heard what happened with the boulder. That was not a fun experience. It caused so much damage. You wouldn't know it from the stellar job you've done here. Is there anything I can do? You can take these trucks up to the quarry. Find Stuart. He'll tell you what to do. Right, Yar?
Wow, Duncan's changing
I'll see
attitude.
you lads later.
And then 3 entities wait for it, except Atlas.
Alright, now I'm concerned. Why? Because he's wearing the same color as Andreas, for crying out loud.
Wait,
No,
what?
he's not. Andreas was dark gold. So it doesn't bother you. It's just paint, Rusty. There's no cause for alarm.
I
Nice change
agree.
of personality. That doesn't bother you either. Let's see. He's gone from a bitter, selfish prat to a really useful engine. Why would that bother me? Why does it bother you? Would you rather go back to whining about being overworked, to sneering at us with every breath, to calling you a smelly diesel? No.
Oh
Didn't
my
think
god,
so.
that
It
was
doesn't matter
rude.
why he's changed for the better, only that he has. Now come on, we have to pick up a load of ballast from the mine.
Alright, Duncan is already arrived at quarry, and who's that? Yeah.
You're right there, mate.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. Duncan, it is you. Sorry, do I know... Wait, Todd? Todd Parker? What are you doing here? I moved to Sodor recently and got a job here last week. I didn't know this was where you wound up. Talk about small world. This place is a stark improvement over... Shh, nobody knows I used to work there. What do you mean nobody knows? Have you never told them? Of course not. Have you? Aye, several. Are you out of your mind? What are you afraid of? The Barnhill Railway is gone. Exactly. It's dead and buried. I prefer it also be forgotten. If you want to keep talking about it, fine. Just don't mention me. Alright, I won't. But you have to face it sooner or later. I'm happy with later. Hello, Duncan. Stuart, how long have you been there? 2 seconds. Sorry, I didn't mean to sneak up on you. I wasn't sure if it was you. I love the new paint. Very suitable. Thank you. I must have given you a real fright. No, not really. You just caught me a bit off guard. Engrossed in conversation with Todd, I see. It's no wonder. Has he told you he used to work for the Rotten Railway? Did he now? That's very interesting. Glad you got away from it. Welcome to the Scarloy Railway. Anyway, Atlas said you would know what to do. So, what he's doing? They're working on the track around the bend. You can take this lot over to them. But before you do, I wanted to apologize. What for? For that horrible comment I made about you putting Andreas in the crosshairs. It was a terrible thing to say.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. It wasn't your fault he died. Thank you, Stuart. I'm afraid we'll have to agree to disagree on that front.
Yeah,
Well, bugger me. Some things do change. What? Nothing. I'm gonna get back to work. Talk to you later, Stuart.
Alright. At Dr. Simmons' Chris, or I can't spell that. What's this?
Good afternoon, Sir Topham. Good afternoon, Doctor. Thank you for agreeing to see me. My pleasure. How are you feeling today? Fine, fine. Absolutely fine. I see. What are you writing? I'll be taking notes throughout this session and future sessions, assuming there are any. Do you feel uncomfortable being here? It's nothing personal. I'm extremely grateful for everything you did for my wife. The psychiatry as a whole makes me nervous. That's understandable. Thank heavens I was sitting down when I reviewed your military record. I never thought I would ever get to treat one of Dr. Anderson's victims. You know about Anderson? I learned about him and his crackpot memory ablation therapy in medical school. To think at one time he was regarded as a pioneer in psychiatry. Maybe he was in a way. He showed us how not to treat. Bloody hell! I'm sorry. I'll stop talking about him if it upsets.
What the?
Can you see him? No? Sir Topham, I need you to be honest with me. That's the only way this will work. Anything you tell me will not leave this room.
Yeah.
And there is no judgment. Can you see him?
Please answer yes.
I did. And not
Oh.
for the first time. How many times has it been? 3, maybe 4? Ever since I saw that bloody lamp. He appears out of nowhere. Does he do or say anything? No, he just stares. Stares at me with those cold, dead eyes he had. Don't worry, Lieutenant, he would always say. We're going to take good care of you. Then he'd start sticking me with needles filled with this chemical or that one. He said they'd eliminate my traumatic memories and make me feel better. Instead, he caused me to forget much of my life from before the war. Practically my entire childhood is gone. I didn't even recognize my own mother when I saw her. Do you have any idea how heartbreaking that was? Why did I have to go through all that? What did I do to deserve it?
Oh my god, calm down.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go off like that.
Yeah.
No judgment, Sir Topham. Feel free to say whatever you want, and I can tell you what that you say. So, what else is on your mind?
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the Scarlet Railway.
Just a little sort of station, having a good rest, convict. Rest and repairs more like. Your water injector has failed. No
What?
more work for you today, but aren't you
Aw.
to take the Nartwin Express soon?
Yeah.
I take it. Oh, no, you don't.
What?
Excuse me? I asked Sir Handel to review your schedule to make sure you weren't overdoing it. And
What?
I know you're due to collect a little kipper soon. I can
What
do
the
both.
flip?
Drop off the express and then that's what I mean by overdoing it. Don't coddle the chap, Mickey. If he wants to do it, let him. Aye, I was a lazy prat for so long. Duncan,
Yeah.
do you want to end up back at the works? No?
Hmm.
Then for your own good, please stick to the jobs you've been assigned. All right, I'll only do the jobs I'm given, but I don't think the passengers will care about that. I'll handle the express, Duncan. You just worry about the kipper. If you insist, Stuart. Thanks. I'll see you later.
Yeah. See? Friends for help.
What? When I say an engine needs to take it easy, I mean it.
What?
Come on, Mickey. If you want to do the job, Atlas, I know how extensive his injuries were. If
What
he
are you
exerts
talking
himself,
about?
it could set back his recovery. I can't believe you're being so cavalier about his condition. Why is everyone so suddenly concerned about his well-being when he's been nothing but a pain in the bunker for years? Because he's not that engine anymore. About that, when did this turn happen exactly? A few days after Andreas died. That's what I thought. Classic sign of guilt. Good. He should feel guilty. It was his fault. And was the whole ordeal with the bear my fault? What? No, of course not. Why not? She went on a rampage after my trucks killed her cubs. And that only happened because I got careless. It's not like you did it on purpose. You couldn't have known what would happen. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Oh, bollocks. I'll say. Fizzling fireboxes. Don't feel too bad, lads. Blame is another sign of grief. Now you've realised this, what are you going to do about it? I'm going to apologise. Me too. I already have, and I suggest we convince the others to do the same. An excellent idea, Stuart. Thank you for making this old engine see sense. You're not old, Grandpuff. You're ancient. You impertinent scallywag.
Oh my god. Meanwhile, on the other line of the Scarlet Railway. What? Wait. What? Oh, they go, and it's a hunt. And then Duncan will go on the way to deliver his flying kipper. And then he go back to this. Yeah. Oh. Oh, so the. So,
Well, that's wonderful. I
yeah.
know. He looks so happy. Why do you suppose the others changed their tune? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just glad they...
Oh my god.
Bloody hell! That was close. More like lucky. That's
What?
bizarre. I could have sworn that wasn't there 5 minutes ago. The lucky lamp has a will of its own, Todd. Good thing it does. Don't worry, Scarlowy. We'll have this out the way in a jiffy. That'd be great. How are you liking things around here anyway? Very much. I've worked a number of railways in my time, and I can easily say this is the best. That's very good to hear. Though anything is bound to be better than the rotten railway. Yes, I wanted to ask
Yeah.
about that. What's this rotten railway I've been hearing about? That was
Yeah.
the nickname given to the Barnhill Railway. Never
What?
heard of it. You weren't built when they shut it down. It was an industrial line up in Scotland. It was hideously corrupt and treated its workers like slaves. They also
Oh
bribed the
my.
coppers to turn a blind eye to this abuse and the many other crimes they were guilty of, like
Shoot.
neglecting critical track maintenance, which caused a fatal accident. When the investigators from London arrived, they were done for.
What?
Aye, it was quite the scandal. The railway was closed, its executives were imprisoned, and the police force was disbanded. You must have been very relieved when that happened, Todd. I was. At first. At first, the
Huh.
coppers may have been bent, but after they got the boot, crime shot through the roof. I
Wait,
was
what?
glad to no longer have such a horrible job. On the other hand, it meant I didn't have a job, period. That was especially bad, being during the Depression and all.
Oh my
Scarlowy, what's
god.
wrong? Todd, did Duncan work on the Barnhill by any chance? If I blink twice, you can assume he did. Good
What?
Lord, that explains everything. I need to have a serious talk with him. Where is he? He was supposed to join us after dropping off the kipper. I'm sure he's just been delayed. Can you head on down the line and check? My instincts tell me something's wrong.
Meanwhile, the
How have
Dr.
you been doing, Sir Topham?
Simon.
Very well, actually. I've been concentrating on my breathing whenever I feel stressed. I've been exercising by taking walks around the block, and I've been keeping away from the scotch. Fantastic. Have you given any more thought about speaking to your engines? Yes, and I'm still not sure I can. Is there any particular reason? Some would have been around back then. I'm terrified to ask if they knew what was going on in there. Do
Okay.
you think they would condone it? Well, no, not now. But
What do
society
you
didn't have
mean,
a
not
very
now?
enlightened attitude towards the mentally disturbed back then. I
Huh?
was also guilty of such ignorance. It's not that I think they'd approve of what Anderson did. I'm afraid they simply won't care. Were any of
Oh
these engines
my.
part of the Wild Nor'westers? Yes. Why did they volunteer for such a squad? Retribution, perhaps? One of their
Huh?
friends was killed in the Blitz, so they cared
What?
enough to go to war to avenge a friend. Did any of them have difficulties after the conflict was over?
Oh.
Oh, yes, their commanding officer, Edward. Actually, he went through therapy himself, and the other engines supported him. Then is there any reason why they wouldn't support you?
Yeah. What? What is it?
No, there isn't. But I
Oh.
should find out one way or another. Thank you, Doctor. No problem, Sir Topham. Oh, one last thing. Have you seen Dr. Anderson recently? No, but I remember your instructions about what to do if that happens. Excellent. Keep up the good work. I'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, oh my god.
Good afternoon, Dr. Anderson. What do you want?
Oh my god. He's a ghost? Oh my god. Terrence noticed. Meanwhile, on the Scarloway railway lines. Huh? What?
Nothing to worry about. Your water injectors simply failed. Welcome to
Nuts.
the club. Thanks, Duke. And thank you for your apology. All of you. It means so much to me, especially coming from you, Atlas. I'm sorry for all the grief I gave you. Don't worry about it, Duncan. All is forgiven. So, with all that out the way, I did have a rather important question to ask. Duncan, did you used to work on the Barnhill Railway? What? Why would you ask that? Who
Oh
said I
my
did?
god.
Was it Todd? Not exactly. We were talking about it earlier, and he mentioned how it was tough for him to find a new job since it was during the Depression. I remembered that was when you joined us. The timing was a little too coincidental, and I'm kicking myself for not realizing it sooner.
Yeah.
I see. You really work for the Rotten Railway? Why didn't you tell us? Because I wanted to forget. It earned its title. Every day was filled with arguments, fighting, and insults. There was no unity among the workers or the engines. It was every man for himself. And when the line closed, its assets were put up for sale. That's when Mr. Sam bought me. He didn't want to advertise this for fear of bad publicity, and I didn't want to talk about it. So we both agreed to stay quiet. Fizzling fireboxes. No wonder you were, a complete tosser. Aye. I couldn't trust anyone back on the barn hill. I was
Oh
overworked and
my.
frustrated. I don't know why I took it out on everyone here. You were nothing but kind and welcoming, and I'm ashamed it took Andreas' death for me to pull my head out of my ass. Well, better late than never, I suppose. Just promise you won't go back to being that spiteful git. And if you're ever
Mm-hmm.
frustrated, talk to us about it. And
Yeah.
maybe talk to Mickey too if you still feel guilty about Andreas. Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Are you going to stick with the new paint job or go back to red? No, no, I'll be keeping this. Brand new Duncan, brand new image. And like you said, Stuart, this color is very suitable. I dare say I look mighty handsome. Perhaps you lot should follow my lead.
Oh, Toby noticed. Then talk edited Mushed.
No wonder he was such a prat. That's one mystery down. Don't start this up again, James. Gordon, it's been nearly 2 weeks since we've heard from the Fat Controller. I'm very concerned. More so after what Terrence told me. Why would you trust the word of that talkative tractor? Because he was right about them closing the fort. He said he saw Sir Topham leaving Dr. Simmons' practice earlier. He was approaching his car when he suddenly stopped. He then started talking, only there was nobody else there. That's very unsettling. What was he
Yeah.
saying? Terrence couldn't make it out, save but a name. Anderson. Anderson? Anderson. I know that name. Maybe a station master? A yard foreman? Maybe it's none of our business. Why aren't you more curious, Gordon? For one, any number of cats can tell you how dangerous that is. And for another, Sir Topham specifically asked us to keep our noses out of his business. Edward, please tell them. I'm sorry, old chap.
What?
What? How can you? Yes, I would have been ticked off if my therapy had been the subject of hearsay and rumor, but I'm too
Okay, chill
concerned to stay
out.
out of it. It's hypocritical, I know, but it is what it is. And all this
What?
clearly started with the lucky lamp. So let's
Huh?
work our way back from there. We know what it is. We don't know how it got here. Do we have some idea when? I remember the first time I saw it was the day after those German spies tried to bomb Nafford Harbor. All right,
Okay.
what can we remember about that day? The coppers came around asking us questions, which ate up a lot of our time. Thomas and I had to run around like mad trying to catch up. While doing that,
Oh
I saw
my.
Colin pulling an ambulance train.
What?
Ambulance? Then he must have been heading to Carlton. Hang on, Anderson, as in Dr. Anderson? Wait a moment, Edward, you don't think he meant the hospital?
Oh my
No,
god.
come on, Toby. There's no way. It would explain a lot, Thomas. Well, yeah, but that would mean he'd been here before his inspection back in 38. You really think he'd come within 100 miles of this island if he knew that horrible place was here? Maybe he doesn't remember. Anderson
Yeah.
didn't call it memory ablation therapy for nothing. Good God. It wasn't bad enough we fed Anderson his victims. That one of them might have been our own controller? We didn't know, Thomas. We
What?
didn't want to know. We called the men in those coaches nutters for crying out loud. It was a
Huh?
different time. That didn't make it right. Fizzling fireboxes. What are you three banging on about? Who's Dr. Anderson? And what hospital? Carlton Mental Hospital.
Oh my god.
How long have you been there, sir? Long enough. I came here to talk about this very subject. It seems you've beaten me to it. So, it's true, sir? Yes, Thomas. I was a patient there, and since you three would have been around during that time, I wanted to ask some questions. The first of which being, did you know what was going on in there? It sounds like you didn't, but only because you turned a blind eye to it. That's hard to argue against, sir.
Yeah.
And we were sick to our boilers when it all came out. I should hope so. Sir, if there's anything we can do, please tell us. Well, Edward, you
Yeah.
can take Lady Hat and myself to Carlton. Of course, sir. May I ask why? Doctor's orders.
Oh yeah. Oh my. Doctor's order.
I sometimes forget what that place used to be. What can you tell me about it, Edward? We simply called it the hospital. It was opened in 1917 to deal with a deluge of shell-shocked soldiers coming back from the front. They put Dr. Wesley Anderson in charge because of the revolutionary treatment he was offering. It only stayed open about 7 months until an audit exposed what was really going on. And like Toby said, we were horrified since we would have delivered every single patient here, including me. Yes, sir. Was it as bad as they say? I don't know what they said, Edward, but I can tell you it was a nightmare. Every day I was injected with various chemicals. Some caused my skin to blister, some gave me killer migraines, others made me void my bowels. I wasn't the only one. Every other patient suffered the same fate, so we were told. You weren't so much Anderson's patients as you were his guinea pigs, but what I find truly sickening is I have to admire his response. What do you mean? When confronted by the gravity of his treatment, he completely
Huh?
broke down. He didn't deny anything and took full responsibility. Not only did he willingly give up his medical license, he actually begged the Crown prosecutor to send him to prison, which was going to happen anyway. He was inside barely a week before dying in a brawl. I'm told he
Huh?
didn't put up a fight.
Oh my.
I take it you never knew this, sir? No. I was also never certain where the hospital was. Is that because you didn't remember, sir? Maybe I was told and suppressed it. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Now that I'm here, I have to do this. What this is that, sir? What did you mean by doctor's orders? Perhaps doctor's suggestion would have been more appropriate. Dr. Simmons thinks if I confront this place, it'll give me a sense of empowerment. But now that I'm here, I don't mind telling you I'm nervous as hell. I'm here if you need me, Tommy. So am I, sir. Thank you. All right, here goes.
Alright. Uh, you can do it, Sir Topham. Pet or Sir Topham. Okay. Oops, sorry. Oh my god.
Good evening, Dr. Anderson. What do you want? I wanted to check on my patient. I'm very pleased to see you've recovered. No thanks to you. You're right. I had no part in that. Do you know what a doctor's greatest fear is? Malpractice lawyers dedicating his life to helping people only to realize he failed miserably. And I did fail miserably. Nobody can deny that. But tell me this, did you enjoy hurting us? No. I was mortified, but I kept on going, certain that one more trial would yield the magic cure I promised. But my reach exceeded my grasp, and I destroyed so many lives in the process. I'm sorry, Lieutenant. I can only hope you're able to live with the burden I've given you. I forgive you. You too? Yes. I can't condone your methods, but I understand what you were trying to do. And maybe if you
Oh
had
my.
succeeded, there'd be less suffering today. So I forgive you. But whatever you are, a memory, a ghost, I don't want to see you again. You won't. I promise. Thank you, Lieutenant. Thank you so much.
Oh my god. He's disappeared again.
How did it go, Tommy? Wonderfully, Celia. Absolutely spiffing. So it worked, sir? Yes, Edward, it did. What's so funny? I don't
Huh?
remember leaving this place, but I do recall waking up in a far better hospital on the mainland. I spent
Huh?
the next 2 years recuperating before being discharged. I was desperate for some proper food, so I went across the street to a little cafe where I ordered a proverbial banquet. The gluttonous levity
Why?
I felt was then tempered by the realization I didn't have any money. I told this to the
But
waitress, who was very
what?
understanding. She even paid for my meal, and I
Huh?
swore I'd compensate her,
Wait,
which
what?
I did. I asked her to marry me, and I couldn't say yes fast enough. That's incredible, sir.
Yeah.
I guess every cloud does have a silver lining. Yes, it does, Edward. Yes, it does. Following that liberating experience, the Fat Controller
Um.
told us everything. As expected, he received an immense outpouring of support. He continued to see Dr. Simmons for some time, but did return to his post in the interim. He also asked if the lucky lamp could be placed in his office. Unfortunately, it couldn't because nobody could find it. Indeed, we never saw it again. There are many theories as to what happened to it, but I like to think it's out there somewhere, helping whoever needs it most. I'm pleased to say the Skarloey Railway no longer had need of it. When
Yeah.
the damage done by the boulder was repaired, the chaps
Yeah.
refocused on finishing the quarry. This
Yay.
was accomplished in record time and without incident. I'm thrilled to say these additions did wonders for the company, making it one of the most profitable railways in Britain. And
Yeah.
ever since, Duncan has been an invaluable contributor towards this prosperity. The SKR's number 6 never regressed back into his Barnhill self, thanks to the support of his friends and therapy with Mickey. There is still one more detail about the SKR's expansion I need to mention, but that will be best served in my next story. So needless to say, that will have to wait for another day.
Oh. Alright guys, thanks for watching for this video guys. And yeah, for me, my opinion is, well, top of Marvel having war out the dress about Dr. Anderson and telling everything, all of his engines at Tidmushets, and then he have work with Dr. Anderson, the ghost. Well, meanwhile on the Skarloey Railway, yeah, last in nighttime, Scarlo, then, meanwhile, in the few days, Duncan just met his old friend called Tord Parker, I guess, and then Scarlet tell Duncan about what's that railway again? Well, I don't know. Anyways, guys, all we need to do is subscribe and like the and shout out to Victor Tanzig, and subscribe to him and like to him. I mean, like to him. And yeah, since about a shouting and shouting videos, well, I'm gonna have a surprise for this. Well, I can surprise. Well, I'm gonna tell you in the next video. Good luck, and I mean, bye.